you? Good afternoon to you, wherever you are. You should be having lunch now. So I'm gonna say, enjoy your lunch. I haven't had lunch yet. I had some salad. That's not lunch for me. I had some water and quite a few bit of water, by the way. I've had an apple and I've had some porridge my mom made earlier. So I hope you're having your lunch. My lunch was a salad, tuna salad, and that was half of a lunch. I'm gonna go have the rest of it as soon as I'm done here with you guys. So good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. This is Dr. Dale. For those that don't know me, and you're like, what is this lady talking about and why is she all smiley? Well, because for those that don't know me, I am Dr. Dale Laing-Hall. I recently completed my doctoral degree on Doctor in Business Administration on all things emotional intelligence, right? We studied emotional intelligence, the concept of emotional intelligence in the workplace, and how the impact, benefits, advantages of it has helped the business overall, the employees, the managers, everyone, the customers, the patients, all of it. And it's been an eye opener, and it has helped me in my personal life. It has helped those professionals in their professional lives, and it has helped businesses kind of increase their productivity and performance from their top quality employees, right? So data is behind it. Go do your data. I do data every now and then on emotional intelligence when it comes out, like new numbers that comes out. I do that every now and then. I cover it my weekly lives, but today I'm going to say go do your own research because it's well known. It's all over. It has benefited countless universities. So many people have done research on it apart from myself, way before me. Go look at, Daniel Goleman. Go look at, there's just a countless amount of people that are just that have done the research on this and speaks about this quite a bit. And with that being said, I am an executive human resources officer, been in human resources for, over 15, 16 years now. And I love it. I love it because it's people. And though sometimes people might say people can be annoying, well, you are people too. I'm a people too. I'm a human being too. So I know that I can be annoying and I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm okay with that. Are you okay with that? Is the question, right? And that comes in with the bucket of being completely, thoroughly self-aware of your weaknesses, your strengths, who you are not, and what you will stand and what you will not, right? So last week we ended our conversation. We started this whole thing again on, you know, why fit in when you can be an influence. That's the topic that we've been going on for the past since the year began. Why fit in when you can stand out? Why fit in when you can be an influence? Why fit in when you can be a leader? Why fit in when you can be yourself? Right? And the best version of yourself, because sometimes the best version of sometimes our version of ourselves, depending on the depending on the situation, is not as positive, right? Or not as good, right? So what happens? We become despondent. We start that negative self-talk, and we start being all down and out and depressed and sad and whatnot. No, that's not the best version of you. The best version of you is anything and everything that leads you to be happy, to have joy, to give back to people, to help people, to bring them along with you, and to, pay it forward, and to smile, every single day, every chance you get. For what? Because you're alive, because you're above the earth and not beneath the earth, because others, your ancestors, all of your ancestors, this is being Black History Month, um, they done a lot to get you where you are today. And and if you're from another part of the United States or world or wherever it is that you are, people in your family have given a lot, given up a lot for you to be where you are, for you to do what you have to do. So it will be not so nice of you to take all the sacrifices that they've made, that your parents have made, right? Your grandparents, your great grandparents, and it goes on and on and on and on, for you to not use it wisely and use it to the best of your ability. There was a quote by Steve Bow that says, God's gift to us is more talent and ability than we can ever use in this lifetime. More talent, more ability that we can use in this lifetime. And you know what our gifts to God is, he says, is to develop those abilities and gifts. If you're not developing your gifts, whatever your gifts are, whatever your purpose is, right? You are not using your gifts wisely. You're living this life, and you're going into, and when you die, you are going to leave a lot unsaid and undone. And someone that needed to hear what you had to say would have not heard it the way you are going to say it, the way you can do it. Because all of us are unique, and we're unique and different, and at the same time we're all similar, right? And that's with beauty, because with that diversity, with that different background, with that the different cultures, that brings the beauty in any group, right? In any setting. So how are you developing your abilities and your gifts? That's the question. So with that comes influence, right? With that comes influence. Uh, if you guys see, I have on my little, it's a little cold here in Florida, you guys. Yes, Florida can get cold. Anything in the 50s is cold for us, okay? So we ended our segment last week with, da, 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 are you a glass half full type of a person, or a glass half empty? Which one are you? And the answer to that question will let you know whether you are an influencer or you're not, right? And we already talked about last week what our influencer is and what we're talking about. So if you're interested in that, you're gonna have to go look at the segment, what we covered last week, right? From an influencer standpoint. For these 2 weeks, we've been covering the 14 different traits that what makes up an influencer. We covered the first 7 last week, and I'll just go over them very quickly. We said an influencer is someone that is deliberate in what they do. They don't Things that they do is not by chance. It's not by magic. They're deliberate and intentional with their actions. Number 2, they speak thoughtfully and listen. They speak thoughtfully and they listen, right? They take action. They're not just this. They don't just have this, a lot of this. They back up what they say, right? Number 4, they are always, always, always learning. Always learning. Always learning. And again, if you're not learning, you're not growing. And if you're not growing and learning, you are stagnant. You are stinky. And water that is standing in one place for long periods of time, it ain't cute. It ain't sweet. So, they have integrity. Influence is something that must be earned through integrity and honesty. Influential people recognize that others will hold them accountable or hold them to their words. So what they say, they're going to do. They're not going to pretend. They're not out for all of that extra stuff. They connect. They connect genuinely, authentically, from their heart of hearts, from their soul, from their inner being, right? With people, because you're people and they're people, right? Number 7, they focus on what really matters. Influential people don't allow themselves to become embroiled or caught up in silly trivial matters, in politics, in the he say she say. They don't have time for that, because again, the very first one we covered was they're intentional with their actions, with their time, what they think, what they do, what they want, what they're going for, what their goal is. That's their intention, not confusion, right? So today we're talking about the number 8 that we're going to cover is, let me just give you a few points on what an influencer is from my point of view. 3 different points. They create quick, profound, lasting change that goes beyond their lifetime. I'll say that again. Influencers create long lasting change that goes beyond their lifetime. Today, this month, a lot of people all over the world are going to be remembering Martin Luther King, what he did, Harriet Tubman, what she did. All of these influential people that did things in the past that allowed you and me to be where we are today, to live a little bit more freer than they were, because they had a dream. They saw, they wanted more. They went for it. They made the decision. They acted upon it. And it was done. And here we are today. That's influence. They're long gone. And years and decades later, we're still talking about them and what they did. So, are you a glass half full type of a person, or a glass half empty? Which one are you? Number 2, they create their own festival of joy. They create their own festival of joy. Wherever it is where they are, they create that environment. They create that culture. They make it better than it was before they came. And that's my aim, right? To bridge the gap, the so-called gap that's in between employers and employees, and let them see that we have so much more in common than we have different similarities. And that if we work together, we all want the same thing. Employees want to be happy. Employers want to make money and make sure they have a sustainable company, right? So, and patients, customers, they want to get the service or the products, right? So what happened? Bring all of those people together, because one can't function without the other. If you're an employer out here and you think that you can function without your employees, you can't. Unless you're planning on just running that company by yourself and just use technology. But you need people to develop those technology, or to work on those technology, or to clean those technology. You need people. And wherever people are, me being all things emotional intelligence, I'm going to always bring in EQ, right? I'm always bringing in EQ. EQ, emotional intelligence, is where people are, emotions are, right? And where there is emotions, things are not always black and white. Emotions are very gray and light gray and dark gray and no gray and maybe some gray. And it's all ins and out, in between, and complex. It's like this, right? But if you work together, break down what we think the issue is to what the issue actually is. We tackle the issue, the problem, not the people, right? And that's what happens sometimes in the workplace. We attack the person that's delivering the message or that's processing whatever, and we don't attack the problem. And that's where we go left. That's where Dr. Dale is going to say, you probably shouldn't have yelled at that employee that way. And what are you going to say? You're probably right, but I was in the moment and she was just going off and talking and saying whatever she was saying. Whatever it is she was saying. Right? But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you are showing up for you. Right? And when you show up for you, the best version of you, you show up for others. So the number 3, my thoughts on influencer is they own and are aware of their behaviors, their feelings, their emotions, and their actions. They don't know it is easily and quickly recognized with empathy. They know that it is easily and quickly recognized with empathy, apology, and love. Whatever they don't know, they tackle it up to, yeah, I didn't know that. I apologize. Because we all have blind spots, right? They forgive themselves. They forgive others. It's not even an issue anymore. You move on. The problem comes in when we try to hide what we did and pretend that it doesn't exist and it doesn't hurt other people. And that's where emotions get murky. People start holding on to resentment. Arguments ensue. All types of actions, and then it goes into physical activity, physical action. And at the end of the day, everybody's hurt, nobody's listening, and the conversation stops. So, are you a glass half full or a glass half empty? Which one are you? So, we're going to go right into number 8. Influential traits of influential people. They have high expectations for themselves and others. They don't expect you just to show up. They expect you to bring your A game. Come ready to roll your sleeves up and put in the fun. Their expectations are high and nothing less of excellent. Nothing less. Nothing less. Number 9, they understand themselves. I just mentioned that my thoughts on influential people. They understand their strengths and who they are. Because how are you going to be out here in these streets trying to influence other people if you don't know what it is that you're influencing them on? What are you influencing these people on? If you want to be an influencer, talk to me. Talk to me. I want to know in the chat. If you're watching this live or you're watching this later, welcome. Thank you for being here. But what are you influencing these people on? What is your message? Who are you? What are your values? What do you stand for? What is your purpose? Number 10, they focus on their strengths, but understand their weaknesses. They focus on their strengths, but they understand their weaknesses. They know where it is that they're weak, and what do you think they do with their weaknesses? Oh, I'm not very good in that area. Let me make sure I have somebody on my team that is. And they're okay with stepping back and letting them lead, because at that point in time, they're not the expert in the room anymore on that particular area that they're weak in. Someone else is. They found somebody else who is, and they're okay with stepping back and letting them lead. Are you a leader that's okay with stepping back and letting your team lead? If you're not, what are you influencing them on? You think because you have a title that you're influencing people to aspire to be in your shoes or to be you? No, you're simply influencing them on what not to do when they get to that position. Because I've been there. So, are you a glass half full or are you a glass half empty? Which one are you? Number 11, they make themselves indispensable. They show up to add value. They show up to add value. They make themselves indispensable. They look and see what is needed, constantly analyzing and thinking and seeing where they can add value to the point where they add the value. And when they're gone, people miss them. They realize people miss them. And at sometimes they don't even notice, other people don't notice it at that point in time. Are people missing you where you used to be? Dum dum dum. Do people remember you? Do people call you and say, hey, I remember when you worked here, when you were there, when you was at this meeting, or when you were at that training, and you were very this, and I remember that, and you made me and helped me in that, helped me in this, you pointed me in this. And every single time I remember coming to you that I was able to talk about this because you made me feel this. Is that what people are saying about you? Are you an influencer? Is your influence a glass half full or is your influence a glass half empty? Or should I say half full and then half empty? I showed the wrong one. Number 12, they make that, no, that was 12. Number 13, they make sure others have a voice. It's not all about you. It's not all about you, boo boo. It's okay. It's not all about you, and it's so okay. It's not all about you. You create the space for people to excel, and when they leave, they will never forget your name and what you made them feel and what you done for them. I had a conversation a couple weeks, a month or so, 2 months ago, and this guy said, I remember when I was working here, you were always ready to listen to me and you made me feel like this. And though what I'm about to ask you has nothing to do with when you were working there anymore, I just decided to reach out to you because I remember you were very nice and you made me feel like you saw me. And can I get your advice on this? I was like, yeah, sure. I was just being me. I was just being or trying to be the best version of me. I didn't always get it right, but when I got it right, I didn't get it right. I learned my lesson. And when I did get it right, I capitalized and I leveraged those relationships and those connections. Are you an influencer? Are you a glass half empty? Are you a glass half full. Uh, there's a quote before I leave you guys. We have like 5 more minutes or so. Influencers are successful because they see themselves not simply as owners, managers, or leaders, but they see themselves as full-time influencers. You guys know that I'm reading this book. That's what I mentioned last week. This book, Influencer. It has a bunch of authors. Joseph Grenny, Carrie Patterson, David Maxfield, Ron Macmillan, and Al Switzler. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty good. It has a lot of great information. And I always, on my lives, I share what book I'm reading. And I gave you guys quotes because I'm a quote type of a girl. And I love me a good quote. Love me a good quote. And so if you guys are interested, you guys can check out this book. And of course, I'm not going to stay here and not talk about my book. Like, hello, like Dr. Dale has a book. Dr. Dale, Emotions and You is my book. Go check it out. It's coming out February 14th. It's going to be on Amazon and other stores. But yeah, go check out Dr. Dale's book, Emotions and You. You will be, this book, I did it because it allowed me to capitalize on my 3 core values, which is faith, continuous learning, and integrity. That you can always have faith. You should always have faith in yourself and God, whoever your God is. You should always have integrity, be honest, be transparent about with yourself and in all that you're doing, all your dealings, right? And always be willing and with an open mind to learn and grow, right? Learn and grow and be more than where you are today, right? And when you look back, you're going to thank the person. You're going to thank the person for influencing you. You guys have to excuse me, Dr. Dale. Sometimes I get a little bit carried away. And the last thing that I'm going to leave you guys with one more quote, and it says it's by Eleanor. What did I say just now? I don't even know. It's by Eleanor Roosevelt, and it says, "You can never really live anyone else's life, not even your child's. The influence you exert is through your own life and what you become yourself." I'll say that again. You can never really live anyone else's life, not even your child's. The influence you exert is through your own life and what you become yourself. 2 things about that. No, you can't live anybody else's life. How you live other people's life is how you show up as your best version of you. And you can only do that because they're going to watch and see what you do and line up what you say with what you do, right? And I'm sure you guys that have kids, do as I say, not as I do. But they're watching what you're saying and they're watching what you're doing. They're looking at all of it and they're taking all of it in. And when they become grown-ups, they're going to be a product of the environment you created for them. And you are becoming at that point in time, your influence would have already been done. So is your influence when you're finished with your kids and they're all grown up and gone out of your house? When you're finished with them, when you finish walking away from that job, when you finish walking away from, being in church and being an influence there, when you have your friends that are around you, when you, wherever it is that you carry yourself, you are there. So wherever it is that you go, are you becoming or being a glass half empty type of a person, or a glass half full? This is Dr. Dale's aim every single day. There's not one day since I've been alive, since I know myself, Since I know myself, because when I was younger, didn't know myself. Since I know myself, there's not one day that I go and not smile or laugh out loud because I love me a good laugh. I love me a good laugh. So much so that I've been written up once or twice in different jobs for smiling too much. Can you believe that? I'll write a book about that one day. So, from me to you, be an influencer with a glass half full. Be the glass half full influencer. In this new year, go be the champion of you so that way you can be the champ, others can be the champion of what you will influence on them. And that's how we're going to end this segment. We're going to do we're going to end it this way. I told you I'm not good. I'm not well. Dr. Dale get it. I get a little bit carried away. Like I love me this. This looks like a really good picture. Take a picture. Go be the best version of you. Don't try to fit in. Just be an influence and stand out 100%. Cheers.